those guys were trained well in the 70s and 80s. They were trained relentlessly strong. And so Dave Dunkel really was a great recruiter when he was on a desk, you know. But they had a concept of prime time. And prime time was those hours of the day.
I haven't heard that one in a long time.
When on the dial phone, you were most probably able to reach a decision maker in a company and a candidate who you're trying to recruit out of a company to make a placement on. Prime time. And prime time was sacred. And you did your daily planning at night before you left, and you had your call schedule figured out. And when I joined the company, they were banging on the fundamentals. You know, I'm a fundamental kind of guy. Fundamentals are fundamentals for a reason. You don't overlook them easily. But at some point, a couple of years in, I raised my hand and said, I got a stupid question, not a sales guy, not a recruiter. And they said, sure, what is it? This is from all the executives. And the sales executives were there. I said, prime time that we do right now is the same hours of prime time that were pre-email and pre-cell phone. Wouldn't it logically make sense that you have a better chance to connect with a decision maker and a candidate early in the morning as he or she's driving to work, because he's got a cell phone and you do too? and lunchtime and they looked and you could just see, it's like, he's right. And then some of the sales executives said, actually, some of our people are telling us. And so what happened was the executives were so big on prime time and the daily schedule that there were people in the field reluctant to say, our prime time, our realistic modern prime time is 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So when I'm in the office to Los Angeles, you know, in Los Angeles area, it takes me 2 hours to go 12 miles.
Yeah, exactly. I
am banging calls, and chances are the person I'm calling is only 2 miles ahead of me in the same traffic.
Yeah, that's right.
And he'll talk to me then.
Exactly.
You know, I have to go through gatekeepers and all of that. So the moral of that story for any leader, and I want to get your thoughts on it, is it goes back to everything we've been talking about, is challenge the known quantity and see what really is most effective and efficient. Because the reality is our daily schedule at Kforce for a few years was unrealistic. It was a 1980s paradigm in a 2000s internet, voicemail, whatever, and world and all. So, and I'll stop babbling.
No, it's a great. I mean, it's a great illustration. There's a right around that same time period too. There was the distinction of an active candidate versus a passive candidate.
Yeah,
passive candidate is so much more valuable.
Yeah,
and right at the same time, like your story, LinkedIn was happening, and so many different ways for people to have access and visibility and communicate and network. Everybody's active. And I even remember having some of those conversations, and, the older generation, and there are comp plans designed to pay more for a passive candidate than an active candidate, even in some internal recruiting efforts. So it's just, but you nailed it. It's the challenging the known quantity. That's as much an important key component of leadership or key characteristic for strong leaders, as is so many of the others that we all know.